to get back to work? Okay, so we were talking about this this research octane number, which is the most common way of figuring out anti-knock rating, and it used a test engine that compares test fuel to heptane and isooctane. And so we ended up with something that used like 20% heptane and 80% isooctane. I'll just write ISO. Then they would say that this is an 80 octane rating. And so that's how they get it. All right. So that's the research number, the RON number. Then there's also the motor octane.
Is it always a 60% like increase? Like 20 to 80?
No, it could be anything. Be anything, I suppose. Could be 2080. It could be 2179. I think they round. The motor octane.
Hey,
number.
Kevin.
Yeah.
When you wrote to the heptone, and what is that?
20% heptane.
Oh, the one behind it, the heptone.
And isooctane.
Oh, isooctane.
So the motor octane number, which we shall call the MON. Whoa.
This is where you're getting to MON divided by RON, or vice versa.
Ah, you ruined it. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So this is a little more complicated. It's they determine at 900 RPM engine speed instead of 600. It uses a similar engine that used in the RON, but preheated fuel mixture. They just do it very differently, and we don't really need to get into that. But anyway, so we get all of that. That's just another way of doing it. But we put those all together, and this is exactly what you just said. So that is, so US auto gas. Let me see, auto gas octane rating is done in the RON divided by MON. Oops, sorry, plus RON plus MON divided by 2. Divided by 2, which is to say the average of the two. And let me see. If I were to pull this up, or pull that down, we would see it written right there, the R plus N divided by 2 method, which is on every gas pump in the United States. So now you know what that is. It's the RON plus MON divided by 2 method.
Every day learning something new.
All right. So what about, seriously, dude? Sorry, I got Zeus. Insists on being in here with me, and now he's just being a butthead down here.
No, because he knows you're on camera.
So is that RON plus MON?
RON plus MON.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm really having a hard time writing on my pad. It's just not, it's a whole learning curve. I said that already. And then now Zeus is wrapped up in the wires. This is doing well. This is not professional. All right.
This is your tech support.
Okay, so aviation uses a method close to the MON, but not quite. So a rating of 100 means the fuel is equivalent. I'll put equal to 100% isooctane. Oops, ran off the page. It's all right. Isooctane. All right, but avgas, we call aviation gasoline avgas. Avgas can exceed can exceed 100% and is therefore referred to as a performance number, technically speaking, a performance number not octane. Well, that's only partially true, because really we still call it octane, but it should be technically called a performance number. All right, so let's talk about some avgas.
What's that word? So the 100 in 100 low lead isn't 100 octane?
That is correct, but it's technically not 100 octane. It should be, it's 100 low lead. It's a performance number. But you're not wrong. Could you not do that?
Who did that?
I don't know. I'm sure the guilty party is not going to.
Not me.
Zach.
Let me see.
Hey, I've been trying. I can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Would definitely keep it more subtle.
Steve seems to have a guilty look on his face.
I really did. I swear.
I can agree with that.
I had this in my hand and this. No, there's no way because my tablet's over there. I can't even reach my tablet.
That's okay.
It's probably Zeus.
No, you're down here on my feet. Okay, let's talk about avgas. You guys are kind of lucky because back when I was a mechanic examiner, and maybe they still do it, but one of my projects was, looking good, MJ, keep that hair comb. One of the projects I had was I had 3 baby food jars, or just jars, and I had one that had red in it, one that had blue, and one that was kind of a clear liquid. And the project was you had to identify the 3 types of fuels. Well, because back then there was more choices. Now we're down to pretty much a couple choices, one choice. So there used to be avgas. We had red. Let me see if I can pull. I think I have a picture here. There we go. So these are the 3 choices, not necessarily around anymore. And this LL belongs over here. So that's
Isn't it the blue current?
So we had red, which is 8087. We had green, which was 100, 130. I've never actually seen a real sample of this. And we have the blue, 100 low lead. And it's stained this way so that we can identify it. Let's see. Does anybody tell me what else is stained red out there as fuel?
Ag diesel.
Ag diesel. Yep. So it's either okay to run in your airplane or we're guaranteed to destroy it. But yes, non-tax diesel, right, is 100 low lead.
Yeah.
Why did they get rid of the other kind? Just for the environment?
The 8087?
Yeah, and like the 100, 130.
I don't really know why they did that. I don't think it was the environment. The 100, 130 was really going towards military stuff. So, and I remember when 8087 just started going away. I think it was more of an economic thing. It was just too expensive to manufacture both, and the need wasn't there. So, avgas, red, is also known as 8087, and it gets 2 numbers. So it's, well, and the reason why is they could not make up their mind, and they got in a fight over it, and they just said, fine, we'll just do that. So that's not true. Okay, the numbers indicate the performance numbers, or the performance number, which is like the octane rating. Or we could say that is the anti-knock characteristic. It's similar to 8087. All right. So, but why the 2 numbers? Well, it acts like 80 octane when, let's see, the mixture is lean. And we're going to talk about rich and lean a lot. There's a place where fuel is chemically properly mixed with air, and it takes a certain amount of air and a certain amount of fuel molecules to be completely combusted, and that's actually called stoichiometric. And so at this spot, it's considered stoichiometric. Then if you have less fuel and more air, it's lean, and if you have more fuel and less air, then it's called rich. Duncan. Jeez, that guy.
Who's that?
It's Duncan. Again. All right. Guess he wants us. Oh, he's here. All right. So that means the 87. So it acts like 87 octane when the mixture is rich, meaning more fuel than air. So that's why they call it that. So it's you get these two numbers because we're controlling our fuel more so in aircraft with this rich and lean mixture. Now, one of the ways I want to bring this up that they did this, where they get their octane rating from aviation fuel, which we used to do
83.5 in the middle.
Yeah. When it's perfect, it's 83.5. In cars, we used to have, and I remember this as a kid, you'd go to the gas station. It's like, well, you want regular or unleaded? And of course, now all we have is unleaded for environmental reasons. But in aircraft gas, lead, well, in all fuel, lead is a fantastic way to get your octane rating up. Sorry, you guys are still messing with my thing. I got to figure out how to do this. Erase. And little dots all over my screen, drive me nuts. You wouldn't know it. All right. There we go. Now you can try it. Okay, so this stuff had about I can't get rid of that. All right, keep it up. Got that test coming up. All right,
No, for real, seriously.
About 0.5 milliliters of lead. Milliliters of lead per gallon. All right, so we got that. Well, then we had the purple. All these designer fuels. There was purple gas. Purple was 115/145. Numbers mean the same thing, lean and rich. So lean, it was 115. The rich, it was running like 145. This stuff was used for military and race planes. And these are planes that were running extremely high compression ratios. It was really hard to find. Well, it's rare to find now. And only a few aircraft are actually certified on this stuff, but the military did. This was running 4.6 milliliters lead per gallon. That's a lot of lead. All right, then we have the green.
Oh, I have a question for you, Kevin. If let's say you're at like a shop or in the field and they say they want this kind of fuel, where do you get it? Because you can't get it like at your airport. You have to order it from the manufacturer.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to Chevron or Shell and get them to make you some.
Mm.
And then there was green, which was just 100. Technically, it was a 100/130 mixture, but we called it 100. All right, so when I looked this up, it was interesting. It had no lead limit. So the manufacturers are putting as much lead in there as they absolutely wanted to. No lead limit, but usually 3 milliliters per gallon. I'll put mils per gallon. According to Lycoming, they say, so I'll just put this Lycoming. This is 2 times the amount used in 100 low lead. All right, so that brings us to what we have right now, which is the blue 100 low lead. So I like that we call it low lead, and you're going to see it's kind of a misnomer. It's almost like, oh, well, it's really low on lead, right? Well, no, it's only low on lead compared to everything else. If this was car gas, we would call it highly leaded fuel. So still, they say it's still 100/130, just like the green was. The stuff I read, it actually said it's more like 104/130. So it's actually a little better than the green stuff in that respect. And then low lead. So scrolling up. Everybody's keeping up okay? Am I going too fast?
Nope.
Going good for me.
There's a little slow down button. I don't know.
Wait, hey Kevin. So do they add so lead isn't lead like a solid material? So do they add just chunks of lead, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's like liquid lead. It turns solid.
Oh, okay.
You're going to see it's not just lead, like a brick of lead, and they just kind of shave it off in there. It's tetraethyl lead. All right, we're 100 low lead. So LL. What does LL stand for?
Low lead.
Low lead. Low lead is a relative term. So 100 low lead has 2.12 milliliters of lead per gallon. All right, so
and that's today, right?
That is today. That's what we have. Compare that to leaded auto gas.
Is that at standard temperature, or does temperature not affect the lead?
Does temperature affect the lead? No, that's just how much is in there. So temperature has no bearing on that. So leaded auto gas, when they had it, had 2.2 milliliters.
Oh, dude, that's way lower. What are you talking about?
From 2.12 to 2.2.
Dude, totally.
So yeah, it's low lead. Don't worry about it. Per gallon, 2.2. Oh wait a minute. I'm sorry. Actually, my notes say grams per gallon, so I have grams per gallon, which is a different. I did read something that was like 0.19 milliliters per gallon. So if that's accurate,
that's a lot more.
yeah, it's a tremendous amount more. And I think that was just for, I should get this grams and do it per milliliters. I'm not sure if my notes are. I just wrote it in there real quick. I do understand that there's a new version out there, although I've never seen it. They call it 82UL. And this stuff right here, it's purple. So we're back to purple. Back to purple. And it's a low octane grade for low compression engines. So let's see, we'll put that. So low octane, obviously, because it's 82 versus 100. Low octane used in low compression engines. That have an autogas STC. Perhaps it can be used for that. So what do I mean by an autogas STC? Well, you actually, it would be against your aircraft's type certificate to run autogas in your aircraft because it's going to call out for a specific type of fuel. So if I look up the type certificate data sheet for my aircraft, it's clearly going to state that the minimum octane rating is 8087. But it's a minimum. So I can run 100 low lead, which I do because that's what I get. But then there was this guy, I guess it's a guy, who created an STC, which you know is a supplement to the type certificate, to run autogas. And so basically what this guy did is he proved to the FAA that you could get autogas, run it in an engine that was designed for 8087 without any adverse effects. And the FAA bought on this. So to get this STC, you basically send this guy a check, and I don't know how much it is. And what he sends you back in return are 2 stickers and a little band and a piece of paper. Piece of paper says you paid your money. Sticker says this aircraft approved of use on autogas. And the little band is something you put around the filler neck of the, I've seen them on oil filler necks. It just says STC, SE, whatever, that you've paid your money and put autogas in. So
You cannot mix both, right?
What's that?
You cannot mix both. Have to be one or the other, right?
You can mix them.
You can mix them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My aircraft has that STC, although I've never run autogas on it. So
I read something the other day that said if you run autogas, like for pilots on like 150s and aircraft that are able to do it on, like you're more likely in the future to pay for the repairs that you would have been saving money through cheaper fuel.
I've done a reasonable amount of research on this because there's some stuff out there that says that, well, back in the day, I was, they came out with these valves and said, well, these are 100 low lead valves. And there was this big theory that you take an engine that was designed to run on the 8087 and you now running it on the 100 low lead, and that you've changed the amount of lead in it. So let's look, we went from 2.2 to the 8087, which had a 0.5. So you're adding a whole bunch of lead to your 100 low lead, right? Which is funny because if you look at the numbers, you went from 8087 and you're like, oh, we're going to run 100 low lead. Oh, because it's got less lead. No, it's got tremendously more lead in it. And so there was this issue of the valves weren't designed to be run on lead. And so then these theories going around that I would hear, oh, the lead lubricates the valve stems. And I read another article that said, no, it cushions them. And without the lead, you don't get this cushioning. And then you're going to get a stretching of the valves and on and on and on. I have yet to find anybody who is a reliable source that says that there is a problem with the lead in the engines. Okay, so let's get that out. Now, Steve's comment is that somebody said, okay, if you're running car gas in your engine to save money, that you're eventually going to have engine repairs that are going to cost you more money than what you saved. Well, being somebody who worked in an engine shop, I never saw that. I saw a lot of engines that ran on car gas and a lot of engines that ran on auto gas or avgas, and I never saw a correlation between the two. More likely, it's going to be some of these other things we're going to be talking about the how the pilots are operating their engines and the temperature ranges that they're allowing them to operate in. So I don't know, but to Steve's point, do I run car gas? Absolutely not. But the reason why I don't goes back to the Chevron incident that happened in Sacramento a long time ago, where Chevron accidentally leaked a little bit of the Jet A into the 100 low lead, and they bought everybody a new engine because of it. And then we talk about, I've heard on the radio, even within the last year, several gas stations, I think we even talked about this in class, some of the gas stations accidentally got diesel fuel into the car gas, right? I think somebody in the class is aware of that. And basically it was, sorry, sucks for you. So sorry, sucks for you doesn't get me a new $20,000 engine. So I want in my aircraft, I want the reliability and the guarantee that I'm getting good fuel for my engine. And it just sucks when your engine quits and you're out flying around because, you know.
How those pilots will deal with, you know, the summer blend and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Plus we have and that's the funny thing too, because these STCs don't talk about the summer blend with the oxygenation versus not. And that reminds me that, and I think I mentioned that when I went to Lycoming school, we had the engineer in the class who was working on this new, it's not the 82 UL, it's a replacement for the 100 low lead. And part of the thing is the fuel that they develop has to be used and compatible with every conceivable fuel an aircraft owner might accidentally shove into their airplane, which is a big responsibility. All right.
I think that was one of the issues I had. I've got a STC for auto gas in my 140, and I was running, when I first got it, I was running a lot of auto gas, but I think it was the alcohol or whatever they were putting in the fuel. It made the rubber seals around the fuel tanks leak, or at least that was it. Maybe it's coincidence or something. But after that, I stopped using that and went straight to 100 low lead.
Harry's got a really good point. In fact, these STCs, if you read it, which nobody does, it talks about how you're supposed to measure the alcohol rating, and it has to be a minimum amount. And then you also get into the fact that alcohol, I'm going off memory, it has a water absorption factor to it. And that's, I think, why the alcohol is in there. So you get the water suspended in there. In aircraft, we have ways to drain out water. In your car, you don't. You need it to absorb the water and run through. So another good reason. And yes, there was a problem with these newer fuels destroying rubber components. If you guys ever make it to lab, you're going to be working on a Stromberg carburetor, these little Strombergs, and they had different needles. They had a steel needle, they had a Delron needle, which is like a white plastic, and then they had a steel with a rubber tip. And the rubber tips were getting eaten up by the new car gas. And so that was a problem. So, all right, weight of fuel, 1.6, it's 1.6 pounds per gallon. No, I'm writing that going, that is so wrong. I can't even.
Yeah, I thought it was 6.8.
It's no,
It's
one.
A gallon is 6 pounds.
It's 6 pounds per gallon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
What in that 82 UL, what would be considered low compression?
I'm going to say I'm not aware of any aircraft, certificated aircraft, that's using a Continental or Lycoming engine. It's going to be something that is probably a Rotax. So you're talking about home-built aircraft.
Okay.
And I don't even know where you get that. I've never seen it. I've never seen the option. And I don't know. Yeah, because my aircraft says minimum grade 80-87. I don't think I could run 82. That's not 80-87. All right, let's talk about this lead. What are we doing? Lead. Because lead is going to be a big deal. And a lot of this stuff we're talking about, I think this class more than any, well, we talked a lot about oils and the selection of oil. And I told you how, it's like the number one question pilots are going to, sorry, now I got peanut.
Coronavirus.
It's going around the web.
It's PK. He did it to me. He's trying to kill me. Put the lid on that. I know we were in Staples the other day. I was buying the new chair, and my wife's like, "We gotta go, come!" And she's like, "What's wrong?" I thought something was horribly wrong. She's like, "I just had a tickle in my throat. I knew if I started coughing, they'd kick us out."
Oh man,
I was in
today. Yeah.
I was in a bank the other day, and some guy came in. He's wearing a mask. He's all sweaty and nervous and scary looking, and everybody panicked. But then we realized he was just there to rob us, and we all calmed down. So. True story.
Every time.
Yeah. All right, lead in fuel. All right, okay. So what I was saying before I decided to choke on it,
Janet laughed.
is that you get a lot of questions about this, and the lead in the fuel, well, first of all, we're going to talk about some really controversial stuff. If you think oil is controversial, that's nothing compared to some of the controversies you get with how to run an aircraft, lean of peak, rich of peak. When I went to Lycoming school, I moved back. I thought they were going to come to blows. I mean, people get very excited about some of this stuff. So it's always good to know what's going on. So anyway, okay, so lead in fuel. What we have is we have tetra, and that's not the game you play where you try and make things go. It's something different. That's tetra ethyl.
Oh my God.
Which is TEL, tetraethyl lead, acts as an octane booster.
I feel like I've heard that before in Breaking Bad.
I haven't watched that yet. And I probably won't. So acts as an octane booster. All right. Some of this is going to get a little technical, but I guess it's because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. So TEL, tetraethyl lead, in the fuel, when burned, forms lead oxide. This is like teaching the battery class. All right. So lead oxide, I can just abbreviate that so I don't have to, lead oxide. It's not really abbreviated, but that way. What is lead? It's like PbO2 or something. So lead oxide, so I don't have to keep writing it. And now I'm saved time. And I can't go to SeaWorld because it's closed. Remain.
CNET.
Oh my God.
Remain solid. Solid up to 900 degrees. All right.
Damn.
Okay. Well, that's not a big deal when you consider that a normal operating engine inside the combustion chamber is seeing temperatures upwards to 1400 degrees.
Talking Fahrenheit, right?
Right, Fahrenheit. And so exhaust gas temperature gauges, you're actually reading somewhere around 1200, 1250, as low as between 1100 and 1300 degrees, depending on how far back the probe is from the exhaust valve. So, all right. So normally, this isn't a problem. All right. But where you see this problem, and you see it really bad on training airplanes, such as the Cessna 152, they're the worst, absolute worst, is that when you pull the aircraft engine back to idle, your temperatures inside your combustion chamber are going to go below 900 degrees. It's going to get cooler than that. So now you don't have your lead oxide liquefying, it remains solid. So now you have solid lead inside of the combustion chamber. That's a bad thing. So this causes spark plug fouling, which is a bad thing, and it causes corrosion. Now, the spark plug fouling, what that means is you actually have your electrodes, and the spark plugs are going to start filling up full of this lead. They will literally fill up and come to a point where it just encapsulates it. I wonder if I have a picture of that. Let me see. You can't see what I'm looking at.
Aw.
I don't have spark plug fouling pictures. It's more of a spark plug class thing. So that's a bad thing. In fact, the Cessna 152s, they have the Lycoming engine. They actually use a completely different style of spark plug because it's so bad. And Lycoming came out with a service instruction, which I follow even though I have a Continental. They want you to aggressively lean on the ground, and they want you to, one of the procedures is before you shut down your engine, you're supposed to get it up to about, I think it's 1200 RPM. Get your RPMs up and get the spark plugs hot. And when the spark plugs get hot, they're going to get over 900 degrees and it drips the lead out and keeps them from fouling.
How about the bulbs?
What about them?
Do they get any of that?
The
lead?
valves?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to, I don't think it bothers them.
Oh.
And it just drip onto the other spark plug.
Well, okay, now let me think this through. So if, yeah, the drips on the other spark plug, which is it's actually true. And that's why you're supposed to rotate them. We talked about that. So it drips the lead out of the one up top. There is, yeah, I'm having a hard one speaking to that one because you really don't get fuel running through your stems very much. So it's really not going to get up there too much. So, and the fuel's coming in cold across the intake valve and it's leaving very hot across the exhaust valve. So, all right, so let me see. Well, all right, so to remove the lead oxide, ethylene dibromide. Ethylene dibromide. Dibromide is added. I'll abbreviate ethylene dibromide as ethylene dibromide, ED, so I don't keep writing that down. So,
Is there a trade name for that under a different name?
I have no idea. I think it's just a chemical name. Changes the lead oxide to lead bromide, Every time I get in this, think, why am I doing all this? Which is not conductive. Why do I care about that?
You don't want to short out the spark plug.
There you go. You don't want to short it out. So no spark plug shorting. So no spark plug shorting. But we're right back to the same place. But for the ethylene dibromide to work, cylinder temps must be high.
Is that a fuel additive?
Yes, must be high. All right, and that's where I said that. So long periods of idle. Long periods of idle cause the ethylene dibromide to fail. And plugs, P-O-U, plugs, they foul. Even though you may get something in there that's non-conductive, you still, once you cross over the electrodes and pack that stuff in there, they're going to foul. So a way around this, and I'm almost done with this, by the way, is this is something that a lot of people actually use. I don't even know if I can pronounce it. Tricyl phosphate.
Could you slow down just a little bit?
Yep. Also called TCP. You can actually buy this stuff, TCP. It's an approved fuel additive.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Like, there's something in there, and you can pour in your gas. It's supposed to help with the lead scavenging.
There you go. That's exactly it. Even the words I use is an approved fuel additive to help reduce lead bromide in cylinders. And so there you go.
I think there's a guy on the end of my street that sells that stuff.
That's PCP. That's a little different. To help reduce lead bromide in cylinders. I have a note here. I'll just tell it to you. But lead is said to cause valve problems, but this is controversial. I really couldn't find any major publication that I trusted that said, yeah, that's true. And this whole 100 octane valve versus not 100 octane valve thing, I just can't find the reasoning behind it. All right, how's everybody? Caught up?
Almost.
How you doing, Janet?
So produce.
There we go. I'm good.
Put TCP in your car.
You guys have all your nicknames on here. I don't know who anybody is. Who's J-Rod?
That's Janet, I think.
Yeah, that's Janet.
Oh, Janet.
Oh, Janet Rodriguez. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. I thought that was like a cool name. I was like, oh, I'm J-Rod. Yeah.
Oh, well, it is a
What about
cool
lockdown?
name, just the
It's a cool
same.
name, yeah.
And yes,
Lockdown
lockdown
at
at midnight.
midnight,
You
where?
guys are, if you haven't seen the news, you know, Sac County is on absolute lockdown. You're not supposed to leave your house, period.
At all.
Really?
How am I gonna go to
County
work?
Just that
announced
county?
that
Don't.
too.
Apparently, I was told that we're an essential business, but I don't know. I haven't gotten a text from my boss yet.
Same.
So-
we have like tags and badges that if a cop stops us, we have to show them to go to work. So
What about the
Oh
stores?
wow. So if I have to go get groceries, like, do I get arrested or something?
You can go get groceries. You can go to the store. So I guess if you're on your way to your friend's house and they pull you over, they say, "Where are you going?" You say, "Well, I was on my way to get milk." So
Sounds
I
like I'm in a
suppose the legislation-
concentration
My way to get a
camp or
cup of
something.
sugar.
You don't need hard bones right now.
All right, J-Rod is finished.
Hey, who's the other MJ Reyes? How come there's 3 of them?
Yeah, cool.
You're changing their name to MJ.
Yeah, I know there's 2 of them, and 2 of them are me.
Except
It
that,
really
Everybody
does.
Should.
except
Yeah,
that
I was.
go to do the attendance, and I got 2 MJ Reyes. You're going to get extra credit, and somebody's going to get dropped. So,
Kevin, do you mind going back to the last page, please?
oh yeah,
And also, before we end the conference, can you show the break times again so I can screenshot that?
yes,
Yeah.
Ooh, good
Good
question.
idea.
And don't we have lunch coming up here in like 4 minutes?
Well,
2 minutes.
pretty much now.
Thank you.
Going for an hour, right?
Okay.
Wait a minute, no, it's 6. Yeah, 6:20, right? Is our break time?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
At 2 minutes.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I do.
That's right.
Oh,
There we go.
Ding,
So
ding,
Daniel,
ding.
man. Bring
Daniel
it back
put
to elementary.
Someone sent me a screenshot or a meme. It was like classes these days, and you can't say, "Oh, I forgot my homework at home" anymore.
All right, there's our purple and blue. I'll talk about that. There's our
Weakest cool.
hours. So I guess you guys get dinner break from 3:30 to 8:20 because I can see you in the MJ with his Cheerios he was eating.
So Christian sent me a text, and
Yeah.
second year Christian, Phil ended up just canceling class because he can't figure it out.
Well, okay, that's not that. I think they screwed him over. You had to request to get this conference Zoom, and near as I can tell, I got the full version, and they didn't give him anything. So hours before he's supposed to go online, he's contacting him saying, "You have not sent me my approval to log in yet." And you're like, "Oh, sorry, your approval got lost." So, well, I've had mine for what, a week and a half now, 2 weeks. He got his today, an hour before it was time. So,
Oh, that's terrible.
Dang.
yeah. So, all right. But you guys, I know you can log right back. As soon as I clear this, you can log right back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you.
Okay, see you.
Oh, it's 7
Hey,
o'clock.
have dinner with
Take a
us.
picture
Yay.
of the dinner plate.
Going away.
All right.
Get some good num
Love
nums.
you.
You're 7.
Yeah, 7.